Overpass is over, and FaZe take one step into breaking the curse. Karrigan one step further, or rather one step closer to breaking that curse. They're looking to try and beat SK in a best-of-3 for the very first time since Karrigan's in-game leadership on that FaZe jersey. And Overpass was quite the game. We get to talk about it now with Chad Birchall and Jacob Vinegar. It's not easy to pronounce, but I'll do my very best. Thank you very much. But with some of the things we outlined here, you know, we watched that fantastic video, which is basically who's one of the hardest hitters in Counter-Strike, and a lot of Nico came up, and well, Nico certainly came up in this game, a spectacular well over 100 ADR, and one of the many cogs in the FaZe machine that brought it over the line.
Yeah, his performance is more based on a consistent one, right? You saw in the last round that big Deagle kill to open up the A-bomb site, but he wasn't the reason that FaZe won this game. Sure, he contributed throughout, but there's two big rounds that stand out. Obviously, the Karrigan pistol round. Yeah. Without that, they could have, lost the first three. It could have been a really tough streak, and they're a team that's going to force buy. So going into the first gun round, they could have also been hamstrung. So Karrigan bailed them out there, and then Rain on the mix buy late in the first half, able to get that 3K as they tried to retake that backyard control. That was huge. That was a point that the game could have gone 8-7, but they're able to get the 10-5 from that. If it was an 8-7, they can't rest on the laurels of winning pistol and just having to convert 1 or 2 gun rounds. So those two hugely pivotal rounds for me in that game.
That pistol round, I mean, I saw a fantastic tweet from Dupree Jacobs, just like, that could not be, that's the worst way to start a best-of-3 for SK.
It is definitely the worst way to start a best-of-3. You want to go in, you want to have confidence, you want to feel the game straight away, and when you go in and have a fine start, which there was until that 1 of 4 happens, it's just like, it's a momentum killer. You can see he was even falling, missing a few shots in there he should have had it, and they should have won it. But as Jeb was saying, it was just a great start overall for FaZe. They got that first round a little bit lucky, well played by Karrigan, and after that it was in control, I felt. And even to attest to that one, the first SK round in the entire game was off the back of a 1 versus 2 versus Fur, where he probably shouldn't have won that either, and Fallen did some sick no-scope as well. So I always felt SK won their back heels in this game, and it was just testified by all the rounds we saw FaZe win.
Well, from those 5 rounds they won, 2 of them was when they actually broke the economy there of FaZe, right? So it was low buys or ecos coming out, so that contributed to the 5 that they were able to pick up in the first half. But look, Karrigan is a really good player, but if you lose a 1v4 on the pistol round that should be a lockdown, that's a mental thing. It's like, man, I just lost to Karrigan, right? If you lost to Nico, it's be like, okay, Nico, he can do this. He does those sometimes. You don't expect Karrigan to be able to do that, and that mentally is just such a, sad way to start the game.
But talking of mentally, I thought, the tides were changing towards the end of that game, Jacob. I mean, I saw the SK round starting to clock up, a couple of mistakes being made here and there, Bolt's winning some fantastic plays over towards the B-bomb site, or the A-bomb site, excuse me, and I was starting to see that curse being kind of demonstrated to us.
I mean, it was the resilience from SK that impressed me the most in this game. It was not pretty at any means. I feel it was on the backs of Stewie 2K also picking up that AVP. He finally, got to show why he's in this team and what he contributes with. He's such a versatile player. He can both play the rifle, he can play the AVP, and you saw in this game how impactful he can be if he gets the chance and gets the room to work with. So it was off the back of him. But again, I felt the entire game it was just SK playing on the back heels. It felt like FaZe were in somewhat of a control until it got close, and then you see Nico showing up with a 1D, and all of a sudden the game is over. It
seems weird to say that the best AWPer in the server when you did have Guardian and Fallen was that of Stewie, right?
Oh,
he was hitting so many shots, and he had no issues hitting those re-peaks or going for those flicks. But something that I want to note is that the T-sides of both teams was pretty shallow. They both tried the Astralis execute. The FaZe guys tried it twice. They worked the second time, so they can probably thank Glaive for that one, because that was a very instrumental round in the later phases of that game.
Absolutely, it was. And yes, Stewie, what I loved about that, Stewie, one of them ones where he was holding towards the bomb site. He got 3, and then there was shots long, and I saw him. He pulled the flashbang out. He got to the angle. He was about to do the underarm, and then he kind of thought better of it. It was like, okay, no, I should probably be over.
Play the percentages, man.
Exactly.
Play the percentages.
Funny thing is, the round, I think it was 2 rounds before, he actually did that in the NGE round where he got the 3 kills in the toilet area, and then he jumped out, going for the 4th, and he just instantly shut down. So I think he learned a little bit from that one.
Okay, maybe.
Like, this time I'm going to fall back, I'm going to play it safe, and Fallen is not going to yell at me.
Once burned, twice shy, and not shy at all. We've managed to find some fans willing to chat to Stunner. Quite an intimidating man, so good on them. Let's see if we can hear that from that diverse crowd.
Hey guys, how's it going? Look, I'm down here on the tournament floor, as you could have already guessed. Now, I've gone to great lengths to find the 2 biggest fans from both SK and FaZe Clan. I've got Lacey on my right for SK, and I've got Sonya on my left for the FaZe Clan. Now, I've given them an interesting task, and that is to defend why their team's going to win. So, who wants to start? I think,
Fine. Oh, okay.
It's a legal thing. So.
Okay. It's illegal. Okay. Hi guys, I'm Sonia, and I think FaZe is gonna win because they have the world's best player, FaZe Rain. Last tournament, they were the underdogs, And everyone thought they were going to lose, but they showed everyone that they're the best player, or the best team in the world. So, yeah, they're definitely going to win.
Okay. Not bad. We'll determine by vote here in a second. Now, Lacey, coming in hot with the SK Gaming banter. Let's hear it.
Right. Well, first of all.
Hey. Shh.
Listen, we're waiting on the famous FaZe choke to happen, all right, right now. As you guys saw, SK just showed up, so they're warmed up. You saw Stewie. You guys just saw the comeback.
What?
Lucky game.
Okay, well, I suppose those things happen. How about we do it this way? In the audience, if you think FaZe Clan's gonna win, let's hear some noise. Okay, bring it back down. What about a little bit of SK Gaming? I don't know, Alex. I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough one. You guys go ahead and tell you who you think won.
Oh, man, that was pretty close to a 50-50. I do like that we've got some fans still standing by the SK. In fact, pretty close to a divided crowd, which is always makes for the very best games. Yes, so completely split. SK, people are expecting that comeback, expecting that FaZe choke chat.
It's definitely going to be a close match on Mirage, right? The fact of the matter is both these teams are very proficient at it at this stage, you know. So when you look at it, the defining details are those rounds that we saw, you know. Obviously, Nico opening up with a huge deagle shot. We're going to have if Karrigan clutches come out, this is the thing. It's just going to be the little bits and pieces of these matches, the individuals stepping up, because the fundamentals are there for both teams. There's no question mark about that.
But then shouldn't there be an argument that if it is, as you say, it's going to come down to the fine margins? That's actually a statement about how quickly SK are starting to find their footing. They're playing against a FaZe that just won Sydney. They're still integrating Stewie, still messing up their calls, still trying to find exactly where they want to play. They're swapping CT positions still at this point in time. The fact that we're saying, you know, that it's close, the crowd thinks it can go either way, that's a testament to SK then, if anything.
It gives into the testament that obviously they're learning from every single time they play. It's still so new for them. It's still so new for coldzera to be the in-game leader and for Fallen to be this hardcore support player that he apparently now is. They're learning from every single game, and it goes into the games. And we're probably going to see that on Mirage as well. I even saw on Overpass today there was some change up in how to play. Fallen were playing the AVP in the beginning of the CT half, which he didn't do in the first game in this tournament on Overpass. So they're still learning every single time, adapting, and that's what SK is known for, constantly being able to give some sort of resilience, besides them being probably in a fairly bad state right now.
I think the thing to note here is, you know, from behind the desk, we can be relatively critical of SK with the change because we expect them to be a top 3 team in the world.
Oh, yeah.
When they drop and fall off, you know, a cliff, we go, oh, okay, what's going on here? These are the question marks. But without a doubt, these are some of the best players in the world. Fer, coldzera, Fallen are all legendary names, right? These guys here are just been dominating Counter-Strike and have built a legacy. This is why I'm saying it's going to be a close matchup. I'm still hedging my bets towards FaZe because I think they look like a more well-rounded unit at this point in time. But SK are possible of bringing anything.
Okay, and when we talk about Mirage in particular, now this is a map, as you said, we've seen an awful lot of. FaZe actually play this map an awful lot, and I know our analysts have often been impressed by what it is that FaZe do. Is this the map where you consider them to have the most strategy, kind of to go to fallback strategies? A lot of people suggested that this is where there is a bit more to them, Jacob.
Yeah, sort of. It's sort of like the Danish way of playing Mirage, I would say. Karrigan is
the Danish way?
The Danish way of playing Mirage. It's sort of like they have a lot of set goes, a lot of fast-paced set goes, so where every single player knows what to do in exact moments, but it's not necessarily too deep strategical-wise. It's just basic Counter-Strike. But when you have basic Counter-Strike that's working with players like Nico, Rain, Guardian for that matter, you know, it's going to look like it's great and it's going to look like it's innovative. In reality, it's not. It's just them being so good at doing the basics that it looks so easy on them, and it makes their opponents look a little bit silly sometimes. And
it's something you were talking about before, Chad, actually referring to Astralis, but when you do the basics perfectly, that's pretty much all you need, all right? When it's all flowing, everyone knows exactly what they're doing, and it all adds up to a rather beautiful product.
Yeah, look, when you have the chemistry and the basics coming together, the trade frags, the communications on point, it makes you have a lot more clarity in the server. You're not panicking. But the reason that these guys here have such close matches is because it is chaotic situations that unfold time and time again. Now, with Mirage, obviously, I think we've seen in the past teams exploit Karrigan at the B bomb side. They want to try and put pressure on him on that CT side, and that's probably a common theme and something that SK will look towards when they do get to their T half. We do need to point out that the positions have been changed for SK on their CT side, right? So we've moved Stewie over to connector. Obviously, he's the new player. Taco used to be the B anchor. They've got someone else doing those duties right now. Okay, so towards Catwalk is now where Fer is. Now, Fer, we always knew he was the connector player, right? Playing hugely aggressive towards middle. Yeah. He can still do that from Catwalk. It's just a little bit more neutered. He has to hold back a little bit, which is potentially a good thing. And then coldzera now is the A anchor. That's a big change from him.
Right, and you were enjoying that. You were saying that you're already seeing a typical Cold Zero approach where he's already finding new and inspiring ways to approach that same site.
Yeah, and I think that that's exciting considering we're going to have Rain as the A anchor for that of FaZe and Cold Zero for SK, and both of these guys are very cerebral in their approach to holding these positions. It's not just let's get stuck in and go for multi-frags and smokes. They play the percentages very well, and that's why they can dominate when they play those areas of the map.
So much on the line for SK Gaming at this point in time. This is their last chance saloon if they want the Intel Grand Slam. Only 2 events left from the 10 from when they first picked up their first. Of course, you have to win 4 of the 10 sequential events. They're running out of chances. So not only that, of course, their life in the tournament, a big prize pool, 750,000, so many hours put into this Pro League just to qualify. Jacob, my question is, does their story end here?
I'm afraid it does. I think SK is going to give us another great match. They're going to show us some resilience, but I think they're going to be playing from their back heels once again. Okay. It is just, to me, too soon for them. I think there's too many changes going on within the lineup. Cold Zero being the in-game leader we talked about, it Fallen now being this support player, and Stewie 2K playing Connect instead of Fer. So many factors playing into this one. I think FaZe is going to take it, but it should be a close one. Should be a close one.
They're trying to give SK time. They say they need time. Well, right now, it's time to find out. FaZe SK, our second map, our second quarterfinal. Dallas, you have your casters. It's Jason and Jordan.
I think everybody wants a third map, and SK is going to have to deliver here on Mirage in order to get it. FaZe is looking strong, especially to start on Overpass. That was a tough hole to climb out of for SK, but they've got a fresh opportunity here.
Yeah, definitely, but you have to think what would have happened had a couple of those earlier rounds gone the way of SK Gaming. Maybe we would have seen them come away with the victory in the end. But let's see what they can do here on Mirage as FaZe make their way into the B site. Fer trying to hold off as best as he can, but only able to get one, and the bomb is going to go down fairly quickly for FaZe Clan. SK looking for the retake, all coming from the exact same angle. And Exist, one of the key members here for FaZe in this defense, gets the first frag, is immediately traded out. That's good work from SK, but they need more. And there's still plenty of players on the FaZe Clan available here on the B-bomb site that they need to dispatch of. Right now, SK, they're just not being given anything. Nico being a bit of a pest in the end. Rain will be the one to close out the kill on a Cold Zero, and inevitably, Fallen has to go down as well. FaZe come away with another pistol.
Yeah, nice. I mean, nothing fancy about that one. That's now, what, 3 B rushes we've had in this series so far. Just rushes towards the B-bomb site from each offensive side.
3 pistols for FaZe as well.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. They did win both on Overpass.
And if you remember yesterday against Na'Vi, they didn't win a single one. So they've worked on that.
A new and improved FaZe Clan overnight is what you're saying?
Yeah, beautiful.
And another good start for them. This round is going to get restarted pretty quick. One player's lost sound, so we're going to have a little bit of a technical delay. Nothing too crazy, though. But yeah, this is now, it becomes that story of SK has to avoid, obviously you can't go down 0-7, right? And expect to be able to win a map like that. On top of that, SK is going to have to find a way. That 4th round better be damn strong from them, because they have to be very careful with their money. You can get into that very easily on the CT side, that reset economy where you're just always on the verge of being able to buy and then just get it all taken away from you. So they're going to have a pretty tough task come the 4th round.
Yeah, definitely. But for SK, if they can get that ball rolling, if they can potentially get that AWP in the hands of Stewie, we saw the damage that he was able to do on Overpass.
Yes. So
it's something that FaZe are going to need to try and avoid or at least deny from SK. It's definitely possible.
I think as well, I mean, one of the big things they talked a lot about some of the shifting positions that this SK defense has taken, with Fer kind of going from connector over to catwalk and Stewie and connector. Both of those players love being aggressive in middle, and I think we're going to see that pretty heavily, especially if any money gets built up. If they feel like they can afford to take the risk, they're going to go for it. Double scout setup here on Mirage for the defense. Fallen and Fer have those. One in window room. Fallen is going to be moving towards top connector. There's actually going to be a defense of 3 players here, but a lot of utility going to be used, and an early tag by the scout. That's a good start.
Yeah, fairly standard fare to see that double scout out on Mirage nowadays. And that's how you want to start off the round if you're SK. They have traded a little bit of damage, but softening up some of those targets is always good news for the CT side. And Cold Zero's in a very important position. Sitting up in that palace, he can exert a lot of pressure. What he needs to try and do is survive, but the rest of his teammates, they also need to survive. And if they don't, he's not really going to be too impactful from that position. So, all in all, FaZe have done what they needed to do. Get into that A-bomb site, plant the bomb, and dispatch of all the defenders. And just Cold Zero sitting here going, well, I had a good spot, but now I'm on my own.
He goes from having a very dangerous flank, a second front onto that bomb site that really cordons FaZe into watching multiple different angles at a large degree that could make it easier for the retake. But all of his teammates die, so he goes from a pretty cool position all of a sudden to one where he's just got to save this Galil, and Guardian's already got him trapped in, and he can't win that fight.
Yeah, Guardian hurt him there. So, Kill on the MAC-10. Guardian's happy with that. 2 rounds up on the board. FaZe Clan are happy with that. And SK, this needs to be an eco for them. So a lot of SMGs out there for FaZe right now. A lot of money to be built up on their T side.
Going to be some soft targets, and that's going to be a big obstacle for SK early on in this half. Even Guardian is passing that Galil over, but he's not investing, just keeping the USP, knowing they're going to be unarmored, and he's willing to take that challenge with the armor of his own. So nades out towards mid, smoke in towards the window where Fallen is, just spamming the USP uselessly. There's going to be Exist taken down, actually. Those are some nice shots by Stewie, and that's an early kill onto one of those SMGs to deny the bonus. And now he's got a new angle. He's going to push towards B, and he can fall back if he chooses to. Going to delay a little bit longer with the Molotov, and even Guardian almost losing that fight. Now it kind of gets scary with one of your players on FaZe not having a rifle.
Yeah, that was a little bit risky from Guardian. In fact, he does actually get punished for it. Fallen's gotten the kill, but the rest of the FaZe are making their way toward A. Rain watching for the flank, or the rotation out from SK Gaming. But still we need to see some entries hit here by FaZe, and coldzera, he's shut down Carrigan. Maybe there's a story yet to tell in this round for SK. They've got the player advantage. They have a UMP in the hands of Stewie, but Nico and Rain are starting to bring things back to equilibrium. They find a few more kills. Damage done over onto Rain. He needs to hit that shot, and he does. Fallen goes down. It's on Stewie. It's still doable, but he doesn't have any armor, and that's a big deficit with a UMP. He gets the first shot across, but Rain is quickly out for the trade. A lot of damage done, though, by SK, and some worrying signs, at least for FaZe.
I had some very nice shots. Those USPs, a very dangerous round for FaZe. Everything taken from them except for the one, and Stewie even could have won that round. Kind of ran out of bullets to play with once he gets that first kill. Nico's just out in the open going for the challenge. 3-0, the op is out in Guardian, and because of the investment in that second round from SK, once again, it's only an M4 for Fallen or Stewie or whoever's going to end up using the AWP for them on this map. Fallen's going to be anchoring this A bomb site. coldzera playing back towards CT spawn, and Stewie's going to be in the window.
FaZe making their way, for the moment at least, toward the B bomb site. Some presence in mid, potentially here from Carrigan in just a second. He does lurk his way up behind that smoke. Whether he'll continue or not, we'll have to find out, but it seems as though he should. As FaZe are making their entry into the B bomb site, and the entry is not clean. Fer gets a 1-for-1, but Bolts is really the problem right now for FaZe. They need to dispatch of him, and they just haven't been able to do it. He's still hanging around in the van and finding those openings, finding the angles. More kills go the way of FaZe, though, and it's just backwards and forwards right now, but FaZe, courtesy of Nico, have the advantage. Bomb will go down here if coldzera doesn't deny it, but he should be able to. And again, we're just going backwards and forwards, and now it's into a 1v1. Guardian hasn't had an impact on this round, but could certainly have a big one. As coldzera now in that 1v1 will find the angle, and woof, didn't quite get the perfect spray down, but it's good enough.
What a clutch from coldzera. That is such smart play. Actually, is helped out by Nico. That smoke allows coldzera to cross over into the bomb site, get that frag, and obviously the knowledge of where the next player comes from out of market after his teammate had fallen. And I got to say as well, props to Bolts. A really tough situation for him to be in, and for him to have survived that long over towards Van was very important. Even gets a couple kills out of it, or at least an assist for Fer, and 1 kill on an additional player at that B bomb site. Very tense round for him. FaZe trying to abuse the low utility at that B bomb site. No Molotov to slow down that hit. Now they're going to do the same thing over towards A. Standard execute with Carrigan playing in mid. Yeah,
this is scary for SK as well. Their money's pretty low. They lost a lot of guns in the last round, so a full reinvestment from them. If they lose this round, they're back onto an eco. Exist opening things up for SK, but Stewie is still here, holding strong on the A bomb site. Not for too long, though, because he's immediately traded out, and Exist with 2 kills on the entry. It is enough for FaZe to get the bomb down on the A site. SK now, they have to look for the retake, but there's a wrap coming around from the back. Carrigan could be a big thorn in the side of SK.
I don't think they're going to go for this. I think they're going to end up backing off, especially without a kill anytime soon. They don't have a kit. They do have 1 smoke onto Fer. But if you save the weapon, you can challenge in the next round. You can still buy, but Fallen is sticking around. He wants to find that kill that might allow them to press forward, but there's Carrigan. And now he has to back away, but he's overcommitted. He's too far in. That's the op, and coldzera certainly, you can see, he wants to stick around. He wants to get that AWP for the next round. A weapon that can turn the tides. Nico trying to deny it, is going to go hunting, not going to win. Still remains to be seen. He's circled from behind, and coldzera can't control the spray well enough. Exist takes him down, and that's a 4th round for FaZe, and this is that economic reset that we know too well. And I mentioned that SK had to be wary of, and the nightmare has struck.
Yep. And we might be headed in the same direction as what we were on Overpass, which is to say a great start for FaZe. It's not going to be as good as they got up to a 7-0 on Overpass, but SK's already found that single round. Still, it's looking good right now for FaZe on their own map pick. And the pistols and armor out for SK. It's all they've got to hold on into this round. They'll need to take an eco after this one as well. So, really tough times ahead for SK, at least for the next couple of rounds.
Nothing has been easy for them in these first two maps. I mean, they had a couple miraculous rounds with pistols and that they were able to win on Overpass. And if you think now, even the one round they win is a 1 versus 3 for coldzera, not easy for him to win. And now, obviously, facing a double reset, having to invest in Deagles and CZ to try and get back on the board. How do you pull this one off? Fallen, perhaps being aggressive towards A-Ramp could be a solution. If he's able to get a kill and fall back and have the information, coldzera can rotate over. Furkan as well, and Kerrigan is just playing a lurking role. He is going to be a real big thorn once this hit comes in and how he chooses to strike from the side.
Fallen's already got some information there, though, pushing into A main. Stewie is holding quite aggressively in Palace, so SK know, roughly speaking, what's going on right now, in that it is an A hit from FaZe Clan. Some utility down late from SK. That'll deny some time, buy themselves a little bit more room to work with.
It's going to exhaust the smokes. That's a nice shot from coldzera. It's going to exhaust the smokes that cut them off, so when Fur rotates, there's no cover for FaZe. They just have to straight up win. Now, they have the AK, still an advantage, but it's going to be tough.
Well, they have the player disadvantage now as well, and SK, they can certainly do this one. They've got all the tools they need, but so too to FaZe as they enter their bomb site very cleanly indeed. Just Fur left there really to cause a problem for them, but that's quickly shut down by Guardian. And now Bolts finds himself alone. It really seemed like SK was setting up for a very, very good round there and potentially even a bit of a cheeky one, but in the end, the aim of FaZe is just too strong.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you're SK in a round like this, all you can say is, you gave yourself a chance. You had a nice rotation. You had 3 players there on the initial defense. You needed 1 or 2 kills when that hit came in. coldzera did find Kerrigan, so it was a one-front battle, but the AKs can just be too strong. And obviously, you want to talk about SK perhaps warming up halfway through that first map. Well, FaZe has been here all along. They haven't gone away. Hitting some blinders as they enter in, and Bolt's just going to try and keep the CZ in his hands. Has full armor as well, so no reason to try and reinvest into that, but look at how ruthless Guardian's being. He's running up catwalk. He wants to take this away, he wants to take it all out.
Doesn't look like he's quite going to be able to, though. So, SK, well, it's going to be an eco out from them here again. Really only going to be seeing the armor out for Bolts, of course, saving it through in the last. That's now time for FaZe to start thinking about building up that T-side economy. It's, despite the fact that they're up 5-1, not so amazing just yet. But FaZe off to a good lead. Now they can really start to put the boot in SK. They already know that they've got that one map advantage, and with such a big advantage in the second map as well, it really starts to put a lot of pressure here on SK.
SK, exactly right, a lot of pressure. It's going to be probably about, what, it's going to be the 8th round, the next round, where FaZe will have to even fight with or have to even worry about nades. SK hasn't been able to afford anything. Nico reading the map very well, finding Stewie through the box. Bolts hasn't gotten involved, and he's the only one with armor and an upgraded pistol, so he's got his chance here, but he's essentially in a 1-on-2, and Kerrigan at long range does go down. But the bomb site is lost. So it will be 6-1. And SK, they've got to start building into this game. They've got to win a round and then string them together. They need to start building money behind them.
Yep, just the one gun lost there for FaZe. All in all, no real harm done. But SK, they need to come back now into this half. Similar to what we saw on the first half of Overpass.
There's still no AWP, there's no Molotovs, there's only smokes that can slow things down. We've seen FaZe in the 2 gun rounds they've really had were just relatively, not rushes, but they were pretty fast plays, pretty assertive hits. And they were early in the round, so if you're SK, you want the Molotovs, you want the flashbangs to be able to stop that. They at least have the flashes, but Guardian's going to go for a pick.
Yep, and this is how obnoxious it is really playing on that CT side at times. When you can't get that economy rolling, it really just feels as though you can never get your way into that first half until 10 or 11 rounds are gone and you're down some sort of awful deficit. And then you finally have a round where you get all the utility out. But we're still waiting for that from SK. It's not to say that they can't win this round, but FaZe have definitely been looking good so far on Mirage. And SK, another challenge presents itself here. Stewie He's able to get a lot of damage across, but he needs to be careful in this position. That Molotov not going to do anything. Smoke does keep Stewie alive.
Just barely, 17 HP. Nico's boosted up as well, looking for the response on Catwalk. It's there, but it's currently covered by a smoke now. First starts getting close up. He's being tagged from top mid, down to 74. So the battle for mid control has been won by FaZe. And now they can start to split towards the B side. You can see Kerrigan with the bomb in those B halls. Nico's going to get boosted up. He can backstab. Rain is going to be heading up Catwalk as well under the cover of smoke. This is such a deadly round for FaZe. They've got themselves in very good positions, but Bolts is going to win the initial exchange.
Yeah, a little bit cheeky there from Bolts, and that's exactly what SK needs, but FaZe have decided they want nothing to do with the B bomb site, making their way over to A, and Nico, he will get rid of Fallen, but Fallen's done a good enough job there for SK, keeps them in the round. It's a 2 versus 4. The bomb, I'm not sure if it's going to be able to go down here for FaZe, but it looks like it will. Just in time, but Nico now in a 1 versus 4. The bomb somewhat planted for him, but his position is known. So SK, they shouldn't be leaving this one to any chance. They need a dispatch of Nico. Slowly but surely, Nico tries to find the openings, tries to find those 1v1s, and that's what he needs to be doing right now. Putting a lot of pressure on FaZe. He knows there's a player behind him, but if he gets rid of the player on the side, he might have just done enough. The time is running out. Nico!
How is he doing this?
Oh my goodness! A 4v1 for Nico, and SK, they've thrown around the way.
I have never seen SK that scared to take a fight in my life, and Nico plays that perfectly. Tapping away, conserving ammunition, peering behind him just enough to freeze Fur on Catwalk. And Fur, for as much as we talk about his aggression, he never pushed forward to take that fight. He never pushed forward to eliminate Nico.
Could almost sense that he was going to get that, couldn't you?
You could feel, I mean, especially when you saw the way that SK was playing it, that was mismanaged in that situation, but still, I mean, brilliance from Nico. Still not easy to win that despite all of that. Beautiful shots. And eventually, once he finds where all 3 players of SK are going to be coming from, you just know there's going to be something epic happening, and Nico does it again.
Again and again and again. And that puts SK back into an eco. So, eco forcing the eco. And FaZe, they're feeling really, really good after that one. That might just be the straw that breaks the camel's back here for SK. They've at least been trying to contest here on Mirage, but losing around like that, FaZe are going to have the blood flowing. They're going to be feeling it now. They know that semi-final is really 30 minutes away.
Well, dire times for SK. FaZe again with mid control. They can pretty much control the map and coming through. That's a rare miss shot from Guardian, and he does pull out the pistol and make that work. There goes Stewie. Slowly SK being picked apart in this round. Bolt's going to be pushing up from the B bomb site, but it just seems like a helpless situation. Guns being thrown away now by FaZe just to ensure that SK can't get anything into the next round. A nice shot from Coldzera. Gonna need plenty more of those, though, as this half continues.
FaZe making their way over to the A bomb site. And SK, well, they've gotten rid of a couple of guns here for FaZe. Doesn't seem that FaZe are going to be too perturbed about the going-ons of the round. Still a lot of cash in those T-side coffers. SK, it seems unlikely they're going to be able to do much more here. Coldzera forced away by that Molotov. The bomb's crossed into the site now, so really that little moment of danger has been passed.
Guardian's been missing a couple shots of that AWP, so I guess if you're SK at this point and you're trying to cling to any kind of piece of hope about coming back into this, at least you're not dealing with the Guardian op that just doesn't miss anything. That's just unstoppable. There, he gets one at the end. Bolts goes down. But really, at this point, I mean, even me just saying that, I can tell I'm grasping for straws on behalf of SK.
Yeah.
This is a timeout that is sorely needed, their first, and it comes 9 rounds into the game, down 1-8. And that was one of the things we said. You can't start this second map off so slow the way you did on Overpass. And it's almost the same thing. It was 7-0 on Overpass. Now it's 8-1 here on Mirage, in a game where if you lose, you're eliminated.
Yeah, well, I mean, while it was a good comeback from SK, you sort of always think, you know, like what would have happened had they got 1 or 2 more rounds in that first half? Could they have ended up coming away with a map victory? Maybe we get a similar scenario here where SK, they start off so poorly in the second half, they might just come back and, again, fall short just at the final little bit of a hurdle.
Yep.
They'll be thinking what more we could have done in the first half.
Well,
make our life easier.
We've got that double op set up out for SK now, and this was kind of the recipe, the formula for their defense on overpass, and it was the one that clawed them back into the game and made it a close affair at a 13-16 loss. We'll see if it works again. Fur has one of them, Fallen the other. That'll be Guardian's job to try and pin them down. Another A-hit coming in. There's the first shot from Fallen. It's missed, and now Guardian has the angle. Fallen's 23 HP. He can't really get in a fight. He's just got to find weird angles to go for it, and he misses everything. Stewie with one kill coming through the smoke, trying to save his teammates, trying to keep space between them, and it just can't happen. The defense collapses so quick.
You got to save now if you're SK. They don't have a chance of retaking this bomb site 4 versus 2, but FaZe, they've got the money to chase down these 2 guns if they want to.
That's the same kind of style that FaZe has been running throughout this whole half, and then they're just saying, well, if you can't stop us, they're just easy hits towards the bomb sites. A couple rounds they've gone for mid control, but I mean, they haven't really been punished by anything from SK, so if they're just not going to be able to stop and A execute, FaZe can just keep going back to it and pile up the scoreline. It's now 9-1, and Bolt's just fighting to keep the guns in his hands.
Should be enough. Don't think anyone else from FaZe is going to get close to SK. This still isn't really going to secure anything amazing for SK. Sure, they can get a buy through here, but it's still going to be lacking on utility.
That's been the story of this half of this defense for SK Gaming is, yeah, they can buy right on the edge of it. And at this point, it's hard to tell them to save, right? Like, you almost feel like they just have to buy. They need more rounds on the board. Going to be missing still those Molotovs, those kits, the smokes. And it's not even out of their own possibility. Maybe you just take another time out if you're SK.
Maybe. But even then, past that, what do you do? Right now, it just feels like they can't do anything. Well, although we haven't seen too much aggression out from SK on the CT side, though admittedly, I'm not sure that you'd want to be doing it.
They haven't had the nades for it. They haven't had any flashbangs to allow that. And here's Bolts. He's going to have a chance to challenge Guardian. I don't think he necessarily wants to, and that's why not. You are pinned back against the wall, my friend, and Guardian, he's going to push forward as soon as this Molotov clears. He takes the next fight. I just mentioned he was missing some shots. No longer. And Fur is still alive on Catwalk, and Guardian's going to hunt him down as well, missing the initial. Bomb is on the ground, and there's Nico to step forward with the AK-47. The Guardian has opened up the round, and SK has to go for this.
Yeah, it's too late now in the half to be letting these kind of chances go begging. But SK, this isn't even really a chance. I wouldn't even call it a half chance. In a 3v2, the way that FaZe have been playing so far, it's a difficult prospect for them. But Stewie now in a 1 versus 2. Exist able to trade out Cold Zero. That's good enough for FaZe, and the positioning here from Nico is really problematic, but Stewie spots him out, a great headshot, and now into a 1v1. He knows where Exist is, but Exist hits the shot, and FaZe put it through to 10. Stewie, he almost had it. It felt like he was going to get the job done, but just not enough there for SK.
Yeah, pretty nasty off angle from Exist, and Stewie had to have known he was low. So he had a nade and a Molotov in his kit that he could have chosen to use, but I think the general consensus is in 1 versus 1, you always keep the gun out. But this is brilliance from Guardian, coming alive here, picking off Fallen. I think Fallen is obvious. You can see where his crosshair was placed. It's placed there for the guy who's going to jump or run across that window, and Guardian just stops short.
Stewie's not happy with that last round either, and I think that's a fair assessment of how the situation is for SK right now. This is just falling to bits. Rain able to get 2 of the easiest frags you've ever seen in mid there. It almost looks like it's an eco round for SK, but they've got full guns. And then FaZe, 3 versus 5. They're up 10-1. Absolutely stomping all over SK right now.
Well, there's the mid-aggression we were wondering about. It didn't pan out too well. Cold Zera's got to hold on. He's got to farm us back at the ticket booth, and he's about to have so many rifles and AWP, so many nades and Molotovs sent his way. Stewie's in connector with the op. No armor for him, and I think he's going to feel pressured, if I know Stewie, to come through this smoke and try and make a play at some point. Biding his time, looking for the opportunity. At the moment, there's a gap in the smoke. He wants to pick off one, but it's not happening. That kill from Cold Zera is going to help in the nades. Rings right through the smoke, and Stewie never even got to take a shot, and Exist is just building upon it. So is Rain.
Yeah, great work from FaZe into that A-bomb site. The utility usage was perfect. Saw the smokes go down, but then the Molotovs to follow up. That denied any kind of that aggressive peek through the smoke that you were talking about for Stewie. He just didn't have the opportunity. FaZe put themselves up to 11. SK again, their money is just devastated. We'll see the force buy through by the looks of things, or at least a partial investment so that they can buy next round. But I don't know. It feels like too little too late right now. 11 already up for FaZe. They've just done so much already on the T side.
This is starting to look like, you know, like the boxer that's knocked out, but he's still standing up. Like, this is just SK just teetering, not able to get pushed over. Seems like their heart has kind of been shattered in this match. Fallen's pushed up close towards A ramp. There's a stack towards, which I think Stewie might be an underpass. And FaZe is looking for anything sneaky. They're looking for any kind of creativity to come out of SK and put a stop to it before it can really begin. Kerrigan on the verge of engaging Fallen over towards the A ramp. Fallen, I don't think is going to push forward. I think he wants coldzera to get close up to be able to have some kind of a crossfire, but it's not happening. There's the pick. A little bit of utility thrown towards A, and it lures Fur into the open, who's picked off by Guardian, and now pretty much free reign of the map. Unless coldzera has more to say.
I'm not so sure. He's being challenged by Rain. If there wasn't already a player in that A-bomb site, coldzera dropping the bomb has some more implications, but FaZe are quite easily able to take control of that. That's a great flick, though, from Guardian, and he's really standing up here on Mirage. 13-6 now. Admittedly, the going has been pretty easy for FaZe, but at least we're seeing some good shots out from him. Bomb's down now for FaZe. Admittedly, SK have done some damage in this round, but again, it just falls on a single player against two. And Bolts opens up against Rain. Now there's a chance, but he doesn't know that Nico is coming around from the back. Where is the bomb planted? I'm not so sure this is going to be too easy for Nico. If Bolts would have stuck that, he would have won the round. But again, now Nico has been given the time, and he can lurk up through the connector, spotting out Bolts. The round, it feels, is surely over as that Molotov goes in onto the bomb. And Nico knows that there's nothing the Bolts can do. The round will go the way of FaZe. We're at 12-1 now. And this might be cherry on top.
And just for extra insult, he reads exactly where Bolts is going to be heading to. It's an easy kill in that window. This has been brutal. SK won the 4th round of this half and have just been demolished ever since then.
Yeah.
coldzera's 12-12. The next closest is Bolts on 7. But if you go over to the FaZe side of things, it's Nico with 15, and then he's got Rain, Guardian, and Exist on 13. So team effort out of FaZe that's looking so solid. Finally, this might be the best buy we've seen out of SK this whole half.
Well, that's what I was talking about, where eventually you are going to get a decent buy through, but it's just going to be far too little too late. They've got the AWP now in the hands of Fallen, which they have had a little bit, but there hasn't been the backing up utility behind it. Now they have that utility, but even if SK were to win this round, it might only net them a couple more. In the end, a 1-for-1 trade, that's still favorable for FaZe. Fur here, the timing so poor to pull the grenade out, and Kerrigan punishes him for it. It's all onto Bolts now. In what is essentially a 1 versus 3, the players trying to enter the B site. The bomb's still hanging around in T-spawn right now for FaZe, but they're just doing damage across the map. They don't care. Look at where Guardian is.
Well, look where Nico is. He's got the bomb now in T-spawn. Fallen kind of understands this is a possibility, but if you're SK and you hear this bomb get planted, you're likely going to think it's B. Fallen's starting to cheat in that direction. Stewie's still around. I think he's going to have to start investigating to get some information, and Guardian going to be on catwalk. It's not going to be planted for Guardian, so he does need to make it over towards A, but exactly, look at these, look at the minimap. SK still thinks it's at the B bomb site. They're completely fooled. And now slowly they're starting to get it as they come back through the murder hole. No one there to punish. But it's this positioning from Guardian that's going to be deadly, and he finds Stewie.
Yeah, Fallen just crossed that angle and didn't see him, and that was it, really. As soon as Guardian gets set up on that angle, you know that he's going to get one. One is enough. But not for SK Gaming. That's what they're sitting at right now, 13-1. FaZe there on the precipice of closing this out, 14-1, I'll be honest. It really doesn't feel like SK is going to be able to come back into this half or this map. At least they gave themselves a chance on Overpass, but now they don't even have a chance.
No, this is all over. We've seen SK make some incredible comebacks. I don't know if this is even in the realm of possibility for anyone in the scene at the moment. There's Fur with the kill. Exist has made his way over towards the cubby. He's going to get taken out, so finally SK is able to stop this hit. Nico and Kerrigan still alive, still working, but they need more, and it's Nico again in a 1-on-3, and if he wins this, I wouldn't even know what to say. Brought down to 18 HP, and coldzera just finds him right through the smoke, so SK ends it with a positive note, but I don't think they're going to be too happy about it either way.
No, I would agree. 1 or 2 doesn't really make too much of a difference there for SK. The real thing is, for FaZe, if they get this pistol round here, it's basically map over, whether it's 13 or 14, and they've been pretty good at those pistols throughout this matchup so far. They've got all 3 of them. So SK need to be thinking about what they're going to be doing in this next pistol round.
This was so sick. Well, Nico's just, that was an incredible clutch.
You can't even believe it himself.
No, I mean, no one really can. He's got to be wondering why no one ever tried to like actually attack him when he was just sitting at the base of that connector. Incredible, incredible stuff from Nico. Incredible stuff from everyone on FaZe. Even outside of that, you can see, I mean, a pretty close scoreline among those top 4 players on FaZe. Even Karrigan's not too far off, and fair play to him in-game leading. And also, I mean, there's just so many kills to go around, isn't there, when your teammates are murdering everything. 13-2, second half starting now, and SK, this would be one for the books.
Certainly would, but there is always a possibility. Counter-Strike is just a game that does allow you to come back into situations like this, but it is a tough slog for SK. So they're going to have to start off with the pistol round, and they've defaulted a fairly passive setup initially. Guardian will take a challenge, but Fur is going to bail Fallen out. Now Karrigan has some work to do. Exist as well with the counter push, and Karrigan has been so good on those pistols. He's good enough at least for one here, and that might be enough for FaZe. It brings it to a 3 versus 3. And the positioning now that Rain has got, he's getting so much information. He's going to get around the back and maybe even spot the bomb here if he goes up in T-Apps. Decides, in fact, to have a look into mid, and he'll see another player.
Started running and ran right into an obstacle. coldzera just pushes him back, but it's going to buy some time for FaZe to kind of figure out where they want to position themselves. Bolts in middle is kind of a linchpin for SK that they can pivot around on this map. He's holding Catwalk very well, can help out if they want to take mid control, or coldzera's coming. Question become right now for FaZe is Nico is kind of this X factor. If he can peek out towards Catwalk, at least get the information, find some damage. But they're a little bit worried. So many different angles that SK can attack from. But Rain is slowly getting them boxed in. And that's the bomb on Fallen, and he's the only one in these halls. If he gets that kill, this could be over, and Exist just tapping away. He's found his... Oh, that's beautiful. I think that just ends it right there, because Fallen has to slow down, and this just buys time for Rain, the silent assassin, to come in, and he misses the first couple shots. That's not very assassin-like, but...
Doesn't matter, he's got the job done. Exist cleans it up. That was 4 kills for Exist as well in that pistol round. FaZe are up to 14 now. SK, they absolutely needed that pistol round. And now they're going to be forced to force. Pistol and armor coming out. And this is their last chance. It's do or die now for SK here at Dallas.
Yes, it is. 2-14, FaZe about to book a ticket to the semifinals. This has been an impressive performance from them. I mean, I guess SK with some of their struggles recently, you could say it was always going to be this way, but they've done a very good job of not letting it slip out of their control. Overpass was a bit sketchy at times, but Mirage has been theirs start to finish. Guardian is going to get dropped by Fur. That's in connector. He started to get aggressive. Rain is behind the smoke on A ramp, so some danger for him. But Nico's going to be able to respond, and there goes Rain. The A bomb site is open. It's just Nico to really defend it from far away. No utility for SK to use. They have smoke top connector, but the bomb is dropped in T-spawn, so that's going to allow time for Nico to try and find one more kill, try and find the equalizing frag.
Yeah, and some really low HP players here for him to grab. Gets rid of coldzera, but in the meanwhile, Karrigan has dropped as well, and Exist, he needs to win that duel, which he doesn't. And now, again, it's all onto Nico. This time it's a 1v3, not a 1v4. Still doable for him. Let's not count him out, but this is looking like SK. They might at least survive for a little bit longer.
I mean, none of these FaZe guys had any idea where SK could possibly be. You could see the confusion when Exist is peeking in towards middle. So many kills have just come out in random places across the map due to the 1-deags, and it allowed so many gaps in the defense that there's no way for the FaZe defense to read when they rotate. So nicely done from SK. It's just feels like it's just delaying the inevitable, but it at least allows them a chance to get this comeback started. Still very far away from even considering that concept, and Nico's still here challenging for the round. That would have been a nice headshot to have. He does have a kit.
Yeah, if he actually got the kill there straight away, he could have sat on that defuse. Not that he would have necessarily known it. But the more kills that Nico gets here, that means the less guns saved through for SK, which is at least going to be a little bit of a bonus. And sitting on the defuse now, Nico, he's not going to be able to get it done. Bolts is well aware of it. That was the only real possible chance that he had to win that if SK was having a bit of a nap. But SK's on 3 now. Buy through for them. Let's see what FaZe decides to do, if they want to relinquish the pressure up or just force straight into it.
You play safe for the economy if you're FaZe. You're up by so much. You're up by 11 rounds, so just don't do anything that's going to put yourself into some kind of a money pit that you can't really get out of, a spiral that you can't recover from. All you need to do if you're FaZe is get the utility, get the AWP in Guardian's hands, and play a pretty standard game, at least until SK proves that they can actually challenge for this map. Or just buy a deagle.
That's not fun if you're SK. Need to find an umbrella. Rain is here on Mirage. A player deficit for SK. It's nothing to get too worried about just yet, but might be something here for FaZe if they can find another frag. Although Bolts brings back at least one, and that balances things a little bit. Back to a 4v4. Bolt's doing some good work right now. He's really just keeping SK in this round. Inevitably, he does get spammed through the smoke, but he's brought it back to a 3v2, and SK feeling a bit more comfortable now.
Stewie's there to cut off the rotation. He's opened up the B bomb site. He's found it for free. Reigns here can't connect to that shot, and Stewie takes him out at the end, 4-14. And I think we're going to see FaZe save one more round for investing. Guardian will be able to have that op. Looks like it'll be another glass cannon, but that's when the real danger begins for SK. Well, I say that, but there's always danger when you're down 4-14.
Yeah. And when there's a few Deagle shots coming out from FaZe, although not in this round. No Desert Eagles invested into. And SK playing the long-range game. Not a bad idea.
These two maps for me, I mean, even parts of Overpass, I guess they did make it close towards the end, but this has started to look like an SK that's kind of just lost a little bit of confidence. I mean, everyone wants to dive into the deep details of what's going wrong, of how this Stewie acquisition is going to change the way they play, and that's an interesting discussion for sure, but I think most of it is, it's kind of hard to tell because this team just, like, in this map specifically, just seems so scared. On certain rounds, certain stretches on Overpass, they seemed a little bit frightened of FaZe and being able to take those fights. You have, you know, Fur, who hasn't had his trademark aggression fallen, as well as kind of dropped off with his trademark hopping. So I think before you kind of dive too deep into those details, you have to get an SK Gaming that at least individually is up to par. And I mean, it's always difficult. It's like the chicken versus, like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Is it like the team play or the individual skills that come first? One usually unlocks the other.
Well, it's quite strange, isn't it? Because it really felt like SK was having a bit of a better time here at Dallas than they were at Sydney. But to be fair, there wasn't really much of a chance that they could have a worse time than what they had at Sydney, being knocked out in the first stages of the knockouts. But
to an Aussie team, no less.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
bloody hell.
Yeah, can you believe it? It's truth. Anyway, SK, I mean, I felt like they were at least kind of working their way into Dallas a little bit better now. You know, it felt like they were making things happen, and I thought they were going to challenge FaZe more so like what we saw on map 1 than what we were seeing right now. Admittedly, they got to such a big deficit that it never really felt like they were going to come back.
Yeah, and it's even bigger deficit here. Guns out for both teams. Kerrigan and Guardian with the AWPs. Light armor, no nades for each of them. And SK Gaming going to try and give them a taste of their own medicine. A hit towards this A bomb site is coming in. Where's the timing of it? Nico drops down. Throws the nade. That could catch Bolts. Decent damage onto him, but here comes the hit. They're swerving towards Rain. Not able to get anything, and Nico almost fell back towards mid. He can't stop Stewie from pushing towards CT spawn. Guardian's holding that with the AWP. This might be another situation where, even though FaZe is here, they're going to need to kill soon, and Cold Zero actually needs to get that bomb planted. He needs to do it quick before he loses teammates.
Well, he's lost one just now, existing a good shot, and now Guardian bails him out. Look at this, Guardian starting to step up.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. They've taken the bomb site, they've pressured all the choke points, and the bomb's not being planted. A mistake from Cold Zero. And just too much. If you're going to pressure in that way towards CT spawn, you have to actually do it. You need a pop flash to get through so you can turn that corner. If you're just going to sit at the top of it, eventually FaZe is going to be in great position, and SK, it looks like they've let another round slip out of their grasp.
Yeah, definitely does seem like it's headed that way, but let's not count out chickens before they hatch. Well, maybe they might have just hatched. As Guardian, oh, Carrigan, nice shot as well. But Guardian, that was a great round. 3 kills with the AWP, and 15 up now for FaZe. SK, they are standing on the edge of the cliff.
Well, here we go. One last chance for SK Gaming. AKs are out for 3 members. Falling back on the CZ, and Stewie with the AWP. And yeah, look, I mean, this is just an interesting round. Everyone just kind of walking right into Guardian's crosshairs, and he's going to love that. That's not the SK that we know. Opening pick for Stewie, the equalizer for Guardian, but Stewie still challenges, and so does FaZe. They're up so much, they just want to fight. They're just going to take every battle that they're given, and SK still with some belief that they can come back into this one, are going to play it smart. Take the man advantage, fall away from mid, circle back where Rain lies in wait.
That's a very quick start to the round. And SK, they have the advantage now, but As I say that, Carrigan is there. Secondary AWP coming to fruition for FaZe. Rain is holding the A bomb site from Sandwich. An important task ahead for him now.
Yeah, FaZe has the wrong read. This is going to be so difficult. Rain, they're going to come out of Palace here. Fur or Fallen could choose to, I imagine it would be Fur, could choose to just keep them locked in. They're not making a single noise. Bolts can even come over top if he chooses to, so this is going to be tough. It's all down to timing. Guardian very committed to the B bomb site. Carrigan on catwalk. Now they're going to be called over. The Molotov gives it away. Rain, how does he manage his attention? He's looking up. There's Fallen dropping down. There's the kill. The response from Bolts overhead. And Guardian rotating to CT spawn. Carrigan's going to try and stop things. I don't know if they can get this plant down. Both ops are going to have them locked in. Going to deny both plant spots. Guardian comes around the angle, finds Fur, and it's all on Bolts. 30 seconds left, and Carrigan won't let him cross either. 16-5. FaZe are going to make it to the ESL Pro League semifinals.
And that secures us the IEM Sydney rematch as well. A tantalizing prospect here as FaZe knock out SK Gaming. A 2-0, and they're looking good. Going up against Astralis in their next match. That, though, is going to be a tough ask.
It will be, but for now, FaZe get to celebrate before looking ahead. That was probably much easier than a lot of these guys believed it was going to be. SK still with some questions to answer, still with some things to figure out, obviously, within this team. Not the SK that we know and love today, but I think they all kind of understand the task that they were up against with how well FaZe has played in this event.
Yeah, definitely. But how much further can FaZe go? That's the real question. We sort of all counted them out of IEM Sydney. Have we counted them out here of Dallas going up against Astralis so soon? I'm not so sure. It's still quite an interesting question.
The reason we counted them out of Sydney was because the individual players didn't seem to quite be there for FaZe throughout the majority of that event. You've got, Guardian at times, was a little quiet, but looked on point for the most part. Nico, obviously, phenomenal. Rain played very, very well. Carrigan stepped up when needed. Exist is solid. So, I mean, this is a FaZe team. If we doubted them at Sydney for not having individuals, I think we got to put some faith in them here when everyone is showing up. And if you're Astralis, you got to be a little bit worried. This is a much stronger looking FaZe.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's going to be all from us here at the Caster's Desk. Time to head over to an interview on the stage.
All right, I'm joined by Carrigan. Guys, give it up for FaZe. Strong, showing dominating performance here. Now, here's the thing. Many people know I'm not too well versed in CS, but I always hear this thing about the curse. Like you just can't seem to beat SK and Fallen in a best of 3, but yet here we are in Dallas, Texas, and you made it happen. How does it feel?
It feels good, obviously. It's been a long time coming, I think, both in Astralis, with the old FaZe line, with this FaZe lineup, and with Olof. We had issues with them. They're a great team, and I think they're about to rebuild their team, and this is the right time we wanted since the Major to play them, because it felt like when we played them in Epicenter, we were not playing ourselves, and the same in Pro League. So I'm happy finally we did it.
Yeah, now you guys move on to the semifinals here, and you're going to go up against Astralis. This is a team, though, that you have beaten in the past in IEM Sydney just a little while ago. So do you think that history is going to repeat itself again, and you're going to be marching your way over to the grand final?
Everybody knows Astralis playing the best CS right now. So we're coming to the match against underdogs, I think. So we're going to play the underdog role against the best team in the world right now and show that we're the team that can beat them time and time again. It's going to be a hard match, for sure. It's like a lot of overtime. Every map was 30 rounds in Sydney, and they're here to beat us. I'm pretty sure about that. So it's going to be a fantastic match tomorrow.
Well, I'm sure that we're all looking forward to it. Carrigan, thank you so much for your time, my man. Appreciate it. Give it up for Carrigan and the boys in FaZe Clan. Let's now send it over to Machine to break it all down with the boys at the desk.
Thank you so much, Alex. Yes, and Carrigan, a big thank you to him because he's taken the words right out of my mouth. That game tomorrow is going to be awesome. A rematch of the grand final. Astralis feel robbed. FaZe have a chance to truly start becoming the nemesis of what is poised to be the very best team in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. They can be that thorn in their sides in the same way, perhaps, that SK have been, or rather Fallen has been for Carrigan in oh so many times. Yes, the curse is lifted, albeit with a slight caveat, slight asterisk. It wasn't SK in full force.
It's enough, though. though, and it's enough
You'll
to
take
change
it.
that mental edge, I think, for karrigan, you know, to have that relief of, hey, we've finally been able to beat them in this kind of fashion. It's fantastic. And it was, Mirage was clinical. 16-5, Alex. What an absolute battering.
Honestly, that was, you rarely see SK Gaming, you know, SK FaZe. You know, if you look at all the SK FaZe games we've got to see and treat ourselves to, this is one that you kind of blink and you miss it. I feel like I only just got to the green room. We ended up heading back out here, Jacob.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty at all. I mean, when you look towards the game and what happened, really, I feel it's a direct consequence of SK trying a lot of new stuff. Yeah. You removed Cold Zero from playing Catwalk, probably one of the best players at playing that position. Now he's playing in the A anchor. Then you take Fur out of connection, putting him on Catwalk, you know, taking one of the best players in connection out of connection. And then you take Stewie 2K, who used to be the A anchor for Cloud9, and put him on Catwalk. It makes you think it doesn't really make sense. So fair enough for trying out some new stuff and giving it a go. But this game is just a showcase of either SK needs more time or they need to revert back and do something else.
Yeah, look, I don't want to come into this and, you know, give SK just a, I guess,
excuses.
I don't want to let them off the hook by any means, but the fact of the matter is this is a massive change. And look, this Stewie roster change could either be the best or the worst, or maybe even both roster change of all of 2018. And I mean that in the sense of, in the short term, it could potentially be the worst, and does seem right now like a team that we expect to be top 3 isn't living up to that expectation. But with time, and I hate saying that, it may open doors for maybe one more roster change within the SK camp that could bring in someone to, you know, be with Stewie, and it could change the face of this team going forward. Because like Fallen said in that interview, it's a new SK, a new legacy going forward.
Well, I think that, you know, they are no strangers to strife. They are no strangers to hard work and the rewards that they can bear. We do have an opportunity. Actually, standing by backstage is Stewie 2K, of course, a new addition, and there is a question of how much time do SK need. Let's see if Stunner can get some answers.
Stewie, you know, this is always going to be an interesting interview to have to do in the first place, but obviously you guys played your hearts out there. Let's run it back. You had a phenomenal series. You picked up the AWP. You really put down the law here, but ultimately what happened? Let's start with Overpass.
I think it all started with the pistol round. I was the first one to make the mistake. I gave karrigan the first kill when I shouldn't have. And then Cold made the next one, and they all started from there. And it's bad to start that way, but we kept composed. Even when we were down 7-0, we had a good T side despite the pistol round. And on CT side, we lose another pistol round, which is hard. And then we were just praying that the ops would save us. And we brought it back, and unfortunately, Nico is a guy with the deagle, so.
You can't refute that. That is very much the truth. The guy is insane with the deagle. Now, on the other side of that, one thing I could say about this SK Gaming lineup is Fallen has been known to be a problem solver. This guy is known to take it and sort of turn the momentum in the favor of SK. What do you think is keeping you guys from that at this moment?
We're going through dark times right now. We can't even find the synergy ourselves, but we found some here, and hopefully we can just find our pathing here, and hopefully just find the right answers to our problems and just solve it and become the team that we all know.
The team we all know. How about on Mirage? It wasn't a pretty sight. Again, playing your hearts out, playing lights out, but ultimately it wasn't coming together like you wanted to, and at one point it was very much a landslide. Talk to me about what happened on Mirage, man.
I think even though our economy got broken, we lost pistol, it was okay. But losing the round to Nico was a big one for us. I think that hit us mentally, and it was hard for us to come back. And we all just started trying to make plays. We tried to be active on CT side, but it was not going our way. And they're a good Mirage team, so they're a top team in the world. And in order to beat these guys, we got to be on point. We have to have good structure, be on the same page, and we weren't there today.
So, Stewie, last one I got for you. I'm going to let you go. Where does SK Gaming go from here? What do you guys do to try to bring it all together and find that synergy, find that sort of work that you're talking about?
We get a lot of backlash lately, but we're not going to be paying attention to all that. We're just going to keep looking up from here. We have a lot of tournaments coming up. Hopefully we can get some practice time going and just hopefully show a new face next tournament.
New face next tournament. Well, only time will tell. Thanks, Stewie 2K. Again, you know, tough loss, and it happens. So keep your head up. And with that, Alex, let's go ahead and break this bad boy down a little further.
Thank you so much. Yes, very kind of Stewie to give us a couple of extra insights into this game. And I couldn't agree more, not only with how great he looked on Overpass with that AWP, of course, strange to see him in bathrooms with an AWP, with an SK tag and an SK CT side, Fallen so proficient with it, but he did a sterling job. FaZe just a little too strong. And I'm hearing a recurring trend here, guys. Nico on Overpass with that deagle. Nico with that 1v4 on Mirage. It does seem like one player did seem to break SK, not necessarily the entire game, but certainly mentally.
Yeah, probably the heartbreak rounds. I guess that's what we can label them, right? The
yeah.
Karrigan winning the pistol round on Overpass, and then Nico with the 1v4 on Mirage. Those two scenarios right there are enough to really just make you wonder what's going on. And Stewie's, you know, he said that they started to make plays. Well, that's what happens when you can't play as a team. You start to put all that weight on your own shoulders and try and get it done individually. And you can't really do that against a team like FaZe.
Jacob, let's take a look at that Nico's clutch once again. I want you to tell us, were SK making mistakes, or was Nico just being Nico?
It's when you do a 1-on-4 clutch like this one, as you see on the screen right now, it's a bit of both, I'd say. You can never avoid, you know, keeping some small mistakes away from that one. It's just Nico playing his odds perfectly.
Right.
He's doing everything right in that scenario, and he's capitalizing off the, I wouldn't even say mistakes, but the minor misplays from the SK guys in that scenario. So it's just heads down, one of the best clutches I've ever seen.
That was ridiculous. 1v4, some of the best players in the world. They all know exactly where you are. You're in the middle of the map. You have a 180-degree turn if you would like to duel both of them, both pushing at you. It should be unwinnable.
That's a communication issue, surely, right? The fact of the matter is they should have closed him down together and killed him. Pressure from Cat and Connector. He would have had nowhere to go. Even if he subsided back in middle, it should have given enough time to get the defuse in. So it just, maybe that was a communication issue. Maybe they were scared. I'm not sure, but it didn't look good.
Yeah, I loved Moses' words. It was perfect. Just, I've never seen SK Gaming play around so scared. They were scared of Nico, and that's not something that we're used to seeing from SK. We can bring up the results from today, though, so we can go ahead and completely understand and comprehend exactly how things went down. It's quick 2-0 all round. Liquid did make the North American crowd loud, and they are going to be picking themselves up against Na'Vi tomorrow in the semi-finals. And that game, FaZe SK. Look at that. I'm just excited about that semi-final. Don't know about you, Chad. That second one.
Yeah, look, that's going to be an absolute banger of a match. If you can't remember 2 weeks ago, IEM Sydney Grand Final of best of 5 that was won in 3 by FaZe Clan, catching everybody off guard. And the thing is, that match was so back and forth with so many rounds of intense Counter-Strike that if we even get a little bit of that tomorrow, I'm going to be happy.
I know what makes me happy is the fact that both of these games are coming up tomorrow. Those are your times. You do not want to miss these. There's so many things that we're going to learn from those games. Na'Vi, Liquid, Jacob, you've got so many questions about whether or not Na'Vi's run in Marseille was, somewhat of a fluke. Team Liquid, you've got a lot of questions you want answered. It's just so goddamn exciting, and I should stop talking. We should go ahead and wrap this one up. One final reminder of one of the servers that these are played on. There we go, I found it. It is ESEA. They're all played on ESEA servers. That's easy. You can go to play.esea.net to play on your very own. And if you're interested in seeing what the MDL is all about, that's the league beneath the Pro League that gets you here. It's all a very long ladder. You can find all that information nice and easy at play.eseagaming.net. Cool, we'll leave it there. Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's very weird being in a completely empty stadium and hearing your own voice, and I will see you tomorrow to do it all over again. That's right, we're going to be partying with all of you guys again. The semi-finals coming up tomorrow for the Pro League.